Hello and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to show you a recap of the basic yard office build and what worked and what I'm going to be taking forward into the next build. So starting off with the structure, I used the basic materials that I had around me, which was food packaging and also a clear plastic container. This is not ideally suited to modelling as it's pretty flimsy and is prone to warping and bending. Also you could have better bracing for the roof and the walls, but as this was only really a mock-up, I kind of thought that I would just see how it went with the things that I was building. And if you stuck a floor on it, you would get a lot more rigidity that way. Moving on to the roof, it was kindly pointed out to me that I got the spacing completely wrong and that the tiles actually interleaved along the horizontal plane and not vertically as I had them. So that's something obviously I'll be using in the next one. All in all, I'm really happy how the roof turned out. The siding was easy and simple to do and I think is really effective once it's been painted. I did wonder if the detail would come out, but I'm more than happy with it now that I can see gaps and actually the ends of it look like they're butted up against each other as they would be in real life. Obviously looking at it at close quarters shows up all the mistakes and inconsistency. Moving on to the door, I think there needs to be a little bit more work on that, and that actually I should build up the panels as it would be done in a real one rather than cutting out holes and then adding the parts to it. Also adding a trap pin as the door handle I think will work really well. So once I've made it and put it together, I think in the next one I'm definitely going to do it slightly more differently. I'm going to give it a darker colour and then come back and actually add the weathering and the colouring to it afterwards. Also I'll get a much better fit because I think I tried to add on too much border in order to kind of make it a bit more rigid. Moving on to the window, I'm definitely going to be adding framing into the next one as I think this gives the window panel a little bit more rigidity. I'm also going to try and cut the frames a little bit narrower, although this is pretty difficult to do with the type of card that I'm using and would probably be better suited for plastic card. And onto the chimney, on the whole I'm really happy with it, but I think the scribing could be done a lot deeper, so when a wash is added it takes in the colour and makes it look more like mortar. But the test actually went really well. Again, there was a tip suggesting that I use a straight edge to bend the corners for the chimney stack, and as it's a very small surface area it's quite difficult to get an even bend. But I like the detail of it being set into the roof and the wall, unlike it being stuck on the side. And moving on to probably the most important part, the painting. So as you can see in the previous video, I need to really do much better colour matching. This is probably better done in the daylight rather than in night time under false lighting. However, again I was just playing around with the colours and getting used to using the acrylics. I haven't actually done any painting like this since probably I was a kid. By far the biggest kind of problem with it was the chimney colour, which was more of a pink than a terracotta red. However, I was really happy with the cream colour and also the grey on the roof. I think it's one of those things that as you get more experience with mixing the colours, you can use a lot less. Also, the use of brushes is very important. I was probably trying to use a brush far too big for the part I was painting. Also, added to that, it would have been much easier if I'd painted the things separately and then put it together. I'm really looking forward to painting the next one and getting it a much closer match to the real structures. I really enjoy cardboard modelling and certainly have a lot more to build for this layout. So moving on to the next build, I'll be using different materials, and this will be mount card and some brick papers, but the structure is going to be pretty much the same. So this building will have a different window and will also have the chimney on the side like the images I've seen of the prototype. I hope you've enjoyed this recap. And if you've missed any of the videos in the build series, you can click on the playlist on screen now, and I hope you join me in the next one.